Now, in terms of population health, the French outdo us, and I'm embarrassed to say that as an American, hands down. Look at any indicator you like. Life expectancy at birth, they do better than we do. Infant mortality, they do better than we do. Female life expectancy at 65, they outlive us. Female life expectancy at 80, or male life expectancy at 80 years of age, where medical care matters, they outdo us. Disability-adjusted life expectancy, which takes into account measures of disability, they outdo us. Years of life lost, we have more years of life lost. This is not a Republican or Democratic debate. These are the facts. But that's not the way to judge a healthcare system entirely. Surely a healthcare system reflects these indicators, but not just the healthcare system. My colleagues at NYU would still say that we have the best healthcare system in the world in spite of these indicators. They would argue that these indicators reflect other things for which they assume no responsibility. Social services, inequality of income, family policies, which are very strong in France, maternal and child health programs, all of which are factors which explain why they have better population health than we do. So we have to look at other indicators. And one important indicator of health system performance is called avoidable mortality. That is, in a good healthcare system, women should not die in childbirth. People should not die of tuberculosis. People should not die of ischemic heart disease. People should not die of cancers that can be cured. And when we look at that, I'm embarrassed to say that we come out in the United States as 19, and the French come out as number 1. I repeat, number 1. That is a fact that cannot be ignored. It must be addressed. It was written up in Health Affairs, a reputable journal. It was confirmed with different measures by the OECD, and it has not received, in my judgment, sufficient discussion. Another indicator of how well a system is doing, and a theme of this subcommittee that I know is dear to Chairman Sanders, is access to primary care. You can talk about primary care till you're blue in the face, but let's look at the consequences of whether you receive primary care or not in different healthcare systems. We have a very established measure of primary care access. It's very direct. If people end up in the hospital for conditions for which you should not have exacerbations if you have access to primary care, that's called avoidable hospitalization. And on that criterion, avoidable hospitalization, the rates of avoidable hospitalization are twice as high in the United States as they are in France. That's an unfortunate statistic from the point of view of an American, but that's the way it is. Lessons that we can draw. I believe that health systems cannot be transplanted from one country to another, but we can talk about some issues, and I'll just tick them off. I'll go over 30 seconds if you'll allow me, Mr. Chairman. In France, there's no choice of insurance plan. Everybody's in the same plan for the standardized benefits, but there's a complete choice of hospital or doctor. In France, all insurers, and there are more than one, pay the same price according to nationally set rates. You don't have a lower price for Medicaid, a higher price for Medicare, and even higher price for commercials. In France, there are no physician gatekeepers. Everybody can go where they like. No one's telling them what network they can or cannot go in. They don't have to call their insurance company to get authorization. In France, there's extensive co-insurance, small, but there's a voluntary health.
We're going to have to learn more about France in a few minutes.